Hello disc golf friends from around the world and welcome back to MDG Media. We are bringing you this MPO Round 2 Front 9 chase card action of the 2025 World Championships, the biggest stage in the history of the sport. I'm Connor Wood and with me, Mr. Elias Luukkonen.
What's up Connor, what's up viewers, and welcome to Round 2. We're moving over from the softer Nokia course to the way more difficult Tampere course, known as the Monster. And I think the name really suits the course. Many players say it's one of the most difficult courses they have ever played.
Requiring a combination of accuracy and power, the best in the world will be put to the test today. We kick off our chase card with none other than Gannon Buhr, highest rated MPO player in the world, and he said himself he would be disappointed to not win Worlds this week. A crazy claim that maybe only he can make.
I think he's the undisputed number one and only person who I would even accept that claim from. And Albert Tamm, a very strong driver of the disc, that's going to come in handy on this course, which offers a lot of long holes.
Joining Raven Newsom, MVP Discs sponsored player, he's really found his stride here in the European stretch, repeatedly now making his way onto chase and lead cards, a great addition here.
And Bradley Williams, one of the smoothest backhand players you're going to find. Also something that can actually help on this course, as you have a lot of long wooded shots. And hole 1, while it's not particularly wooded, feels more like an open hole. You still have to hit your line. It's such a difficult starting hole, 237 meters to start off with a par 4. Off the tee, you really want to stay between the left side, right side branches, get about 120-130 meters of distance, ideally into a slight downhill slope. Have that left and right side OB all the way until the basket on your second shot, which plays pretty much dead straight. You have the basket on a little bit of a mount, I believe built mainly for this tournament. It didn't used to be there in the years past. So definitely a hard fairway driver thrower shot here, both on the tee and on the second.
First on the tee, currently at 10 under par, your two-time United States champion, sponsored by Discmania, Gannon Buhr!
All right, number one player in the world, Gannon Buhr, opening round at the World Championships here, 10 down. Tell us how you're feeling.
Yeah, it's a good round. It's definitely probably my best round one at the World Championships, and that's always kind of been my problem. Is I have a bad round one, I feel like I'm out of it, and then I'm constantly in this like mental battle to try to shoot hot rounds and get myself up there. But right now I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, definitely made probably 3 or 4 mistakes I probably shouldn't have, but I mean, everyone can say that. So the most important part today was getting the birdies on 15 and 16 when I needed to. That way I could kind of boost my round, get past those hard holes and get under par. So finished with a 10 under par. We'll be on the chase card again. So yeah, no pressure tomorrow. It's just going to go back to my favorite course in the world, Tampere, and see how it goes.
Yeah, 2 quite different courses. How are you feeling heading into tomorrow?
I feel good. I think I'm going to go there right now and try to dial in some holes and make sure I'm hitting my lines. But I think my game plan at Tampere is rock solid. I had a really good practice round there a couple days ago, and I guess I saw all the lines that I needed to throw. So I'm feeling pretty good out there. I think the main thing out there is not push too much. You don't need to attack out there. The birdies will come if you're throwing good shots. So I'm just gonna go out there, make sure I'm not bogeying, and as I always say recently, as long as I'm taking bogeys that are not due to decisions, I'm okay with it. Because you're bound to throw a couple bad shots every once in a while. But as long as I can prevent most of them from happening, I should be able to shoot pretty hot.
Yeah, so you're 2 back from the lead, top of the chase card. What can we expect to see you on second round here on MDG coverage?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking to have just a decent front 9 and really attack the back 9 out there. I think it's a bit easier. So, you know, my goal would definitely be pushing toward that 10 under par. It's pretty tough out there, especially if you have a bad start. It's pretty much out the window. So anywhere better than 5 or 6 is good enough, but you would like to be making up some strokes. So I know we have 2 rounds in a row out there, so I'm just gonna, you know, keep it easy, keep it nice and smooth, go into those rounds with a pretty level head. That way I can, you know, play consistent and play smart.
How does it feel to have your family here with you overseas?
Yeah, it's awesome. They both thought about maybe not coming, and I was like, you have to come just in case I win. So we're off to a good start, and hopefully I can pull it out.
All right, good luck, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
A smooth Gannon Buhr. Dangerous player to have chasing you from second card. Great drive. Straight controls the flight. Lands flat.
Next on the tee, also at 10 under par, your 5-time Estonian national champion, sponsored by Latitude 64, Albert Tamm.
Albert having maybe his breakout performance in this very area at the European Open a few years back. Made the lead card and a lot of great fans. Challenging the left side and a great kick. He's still gonna be a little bit left there, but
Also at 10 under par, sponsored by MVP Disc Sports from United States, Raven Newsom.
yeah, very surprising to see Albert OB there. The OB does creep in that part of the fairway, but I believe he had to have gotten some sort of a roll away on the edge of the fairway there.
Raven, known as a player who's able to manipulate angles very nicely. A hole here that rewards that. Managing the complete flight of the disc until the very end is absolutely required to stick the fairway. Raven, similar inside left to Albert's
Next
line.
on the tee, currently at 9 under par, sponsored by Innova from United States, Bradley Williams.
Yeah, we're not starting off easy. It's actually the hardest hole on the course. Just 10 birdies on the day, averaging more than half a stroke above par.
I mentioned a smooth Gannon Buhr, but Bradley Williams has something to say about that. One of the smoothest forms in the game and pinpoint precision down the fairway. Raven scrambling from the left side here. The OB line being slightly inside the bushes, meaning that even if you're not OB, if you're close to it, you still have an obstacle to get through. Raven gets his roller out.
Albert there, just OB. Going with a big control forehand. Impressive power, impressive angle control from a standstill stance. He's known for having a large backhand, large forehand as well. And Bradley here, 140 meters to the pin. So definitely takes a lot of power, and that's a bad kick. I have to see if he's OB on that left side or not.
He opted for the soft Anheuser on the left side, a shot he's very familiar with. In this moment, didn't execute it. Raven looking to do the same now. Flex one through the gap and land flat. Really nicely done. He will be having that slightly elevated look for par. We go to Gannon.
Yeah, Gannon from the right side has to go with a little turnover. Looks like he's opting to go for a distance driver, and that's a terrible break. The shot was left out of the hand, so I think maybe that will go into the category that he was mentioning in the interview, that he didn't really make a bad decision, he was just not quite committed.
The early rough for Williams slows him down significantly. That is a long look now. Not a comfortable range. We go to Gannon.
And there you go. There's a good shot finally. A really rough looking start for the chase card. I mean, this course, I'd say it's more about surviving than really shredding. You know that you might be able to shoot a few under par, maybe 4 under par, not really lose that many strokes, even to the leaders of the tournament. But still, bogeying this hole, while it's the hardest hole on the course, You know the most common score for the top players is going to be a par. And most of those 10 birdies are going to be scored by the top of the field, not the bottom.
Raven, an opportunity to save the 4. Gives it the step and it's shy off the cage. He'll be looking at that short tap in for bogey.
And you can see on the background the crowd is not massive, not nearly the size as in Nokia, and that is for the reason that the crowd was limited. So the organizer decided that we can't let everybody come into this course as it's more wooded and there isn't that much space for everybody. So it's better to just sell limited amounts of tickets, keep the experience better for those fans who actually end up buying the tickets. As we're moving on to a very unique hole, hole number 2, 124 meters. The whole map really shows the shape of the whole grade. You have to get so far left that it's almost impossible to get too far left of the tee. You really have to challenge pretty much the first branches on the left side of the fairway to get all the way to the green here. A very common shot is going to be a high backhand hyzer stalling way to the left, but even most of the best shots end up a little bit right of the basket. Super easy to go long, and yeah, hard to go too tight here.
We see Gannon go extremely high, needing to control that long hyzer shape. Stalls out early. Is inside left rough, but inbounds. Displeased with the shot, we go to Tamm. A very unique shape that is infrequently required for these players. It is, on one hand, a simple one-angle hyzer, on another, many ingredients need to be correct here to find the birdie. Albert, a nasty roll off the spike, but does secure safety and likely a stress-free 3.
Yeah, Albert hitting the edge of the second tier on the green. As Bradley, beautiful shot. Getting on top of that second tier is going to be ideal and really the best case scenario. It's quite unrealistic to put it to the bullseye on this hole. Most of the birdies are going to come from just inside the circle or C2.
Raven does not challenge the inside branches early left, goes with additional width, and that leaves him with additional distance now. The upshot, opting for the overstable forehand and hyzer. Smooth to bullseye's edge.
Gannon trying to run it from 25 meters. Pretty smooth. Showing off the versatility of his game.
Albert as well with the soft bid. A great design of this green here. These tiers offering an additional challenge in elevation, but rewarding the long bids with the backstop. And we see that taken advantage of here. Bradley Williams, a fantastic birdie. As you mentioned, Elias, the second tier. Promising place to find yourself.
Yep, only 3 players were able to find themselves parked on this hole. 20 players inside of Circle 1 and 70 players inside of Circle 2. So Circle 2 definitely being the most common landing zone. As moving on to hole number 3, another unique shape on this course, 118 meters, just slightly downhill, probably playing closer to 112. Have to throw a specifically timed turnover here or a very late flipping forehand hyzer. So what you want to do is go straight for about 80 meters and then for the last 38 meters take that right bend. It's a beautiful hole. Even though you can't see the basket, you pretty much know if your shot is going to be good out of the hand when you see it starting to turn to the right.
Brad has good turn, but lacks the height to complete the full flight, but a great ground play gets him into striking distance, Circle 2. We go to Gannon, who's looking to shape the forehand likely releasing a slightly understable disc on a lot of hyzer.
If it pushes forwards, this looks great. And almost perfect. Gonna be inside the circle, bit of a lucky break there at the end to get through those right side trees. But that's a common result with the forehand. It's really tricky to push it all the way parked without challenging the backside trees on the left. So this looks like it's gonna push the backside, and that's exactly what happens. So touchy with the forehand. I really believe even though it's a right bending hole, it suits the backhand shape so much better than the forehand.
Backhand seems to be the way to absolutely park the hole, whereas the forehand, an attempt at a longer bid, but likely more safe progress. We see Raven there with a similar height to Bradley. Albert up first, short right, looking to bend an Anheuser around the trees.
Nice bid there, a lot of spin. Albert definitely being more of a driver than being known for his great putting. I believe that's what allows him to score great on the Beast in round number 1. And there you go, Raven Newsom. Maybe that will bring our group alive after a rough start.
Bradley striking true as well there. Secures the birdie from distance. Raven to 1 over for the round. Bradley in comparison 1 under, yet to take a par with 2 birdies, the single bogey. Gannon cleans up the forehand as well. He is net even so far through 3. And he mentioned himself the back 9 is where he's looking to score, but he picks up his first here on the front 9.
Beth at 69.
I just told myself, you got to will this one in there. Whatever you have, just will it in there.
This man is unbelievable. This is what athletes live for. This is the moment.
Moving on to a long par 4 here. 262 meters. It's really a hole where if you throw a perfect drive, you still are gonna have 120 meters to the basket. The drive plays great for a slight hyzer out of the hand with a straight to stable driver. Wanna keep it closer to the right side of the fairway to open up the angle for your second shot. So the more you can push the right side trees off the drive is gonna be better. Opening up a 120 meter, either a turnover shot with an understable fairway driver, sometimes even a mid-range, sometimes even a distance driver if you're further out, or if you have a long forehand, second shot plays really nicely for that as well. It's a hole where you can't really bite off a lot of distance off the tee besides the 135, 140 that you usually naturally get with this flight.
Brad flips it up, does not find the fade before the tree line, but fortunately filters through to the far side. Will have not of an obstruction rather than he might think from seeing that hit. Gannon collides with the same tree line, slightly higher. Neither of their hyzers able to finish left.
Quite surprising errors. You really can't turn it over to the right on this hole. 3 times in a row on this card. Shocking mistakes. The safe side to miss on is left, so even though the ideal position on this hole is closer to the right side, if you do have to miss, you miss left, because on the left side there are basically no trees. And Albert looks like he's learning from the rest. Great looking tee shot. He's gonna be in the middle of the fairway, but you can see on the left, he isn't in any trees, or there are no trees in his swing, but he's gonna have a tricky line and bit of a decision from there.
Raven going high with a steep Anheuser, looking to shape the full flex through the gap.
That thing just kept going. I got a lot on that. Holy cow.
Gannon similarly obstructed, although going around the left side Simple progress and positional shot to try and bring the par into play.
Yeah, Gannon's going to be slightly further than the best drives you're going to see on this hole. So definitely a good par position. Same thing for Bradley there. Both of them are going to have just above 100 meters. And you can see Albert, while he's safe on the fairway being left, the angle with the forehand becomes so much trickier, showing off the great athleticism he has. I believe used to be an athlete of many sorts, and definitely one of the stronger European players we have on tour as far as physical capabilities.
Gannon from the right side goes with the pure hyzer. Enough height! Not only on the air, but on the skip. Really fantastic control there. Blind around the corner. Great knowledge of the green and the exact shape of the fairway he needs to hit. We go to Williams. A lower shot is going to need the skip to get up, and it is enough. Both of those have done well for their pars.
Raven, he's on the left side of the fairway, which often causes struggles, not for him though, as he's going to be just around edge of the circle there. Gonna be a big putt for the momentum, being 1 over versus 2 over at this part of the round is going to be a big difference.
Albert stabbing out from the bushes. Raven with the putt there. For his par, he'll have the comebacker for bogey. Williams for par as well now. Great delivery. That extra skip fighting the slope here, netting him a shorter distance.
Raven, still some work left to do. That one's good. And this course can really even humiliate you if you're one of the top players. And if you're a bit off, these players aren't really used to, especially on this European swing. You know, 2 weeks ago we had one of the easier courses on tour at the European Disc Golf Festival. And the beast that they played in round number 1 is also one of the easier courses that these guys play. But this one, being one of the hardest, it can be easy to forget, I mean, how disc golf is being played. Normally, you're not birdieing every hole. This is the reality for almost everybody playing the sport. These guys are having to put their try-hard gloves on and really grind it out there. As we're moving on to hole number 5, hole that has been lengthened for this year. Plays really well for a big forehand flex off the tee. That's the ideal shot if you want to get into easy birdie position. But a lot of players are also going for a straight to slight left finishing shot off the tee. And then the second shot, no matter if you're short or long, it's really a left to right bending shot. A turnover, potentially, a big forehand if you got it. Basket is probably the most protected out of all of the holes on this course. A lot of trees, even inside the bullseye.
Bradley shapes the straight to left ending shot. Will open up the angle for him, looking into the green. I would say, Elias, the highest density of trees in the bullseye of any hole in Europe, potentially.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's, you know, it was a conscious choice. Of course, everything on this course is very conscious. Jussi and I believe Tommi Vesala. Don't quote me on this, but I believe being the other creator of this course. As Albert Tamm going for a huge forehand.
Oh, and punished by the skin of the OB line there. So close to coming back in bounds. Absolutely smushed. A few centimeters in either direction could have kept him in bounds. Raven connects with the early left side. Does filter down to a point now. Likely playing for par. And some limited progress is available to him. Still having to fight the corner. Positions himself with an open look. We go to Bradley's second. A long distance here. Very late gaps to hit. Opts for the high Anheuser roller. Lands it on cut. And looking to turn it over to the right. And it eventually does before the OB comes into play. Great creativity and execution for him. from way back there. The crowd absolutely loves it. Knuckles from Gilbert.
Deservedly so. I love the roller play here. I mean, especially with that slight right-left slope of the fairway. Forehand plays great. I mean, roller plays great. And Gannon Buhr, he's going to have an extremely protected 10-meter putt. I don't think we can count the number of those trees with our combined fingers in this room.
Albert, a low hyzer, looks to just butter the grass, and that guardian log effectively keeps him out of the circle. Had he gotten any amount of skip, would likely gone all the way. We saw that trajectory keep him grounded. We go to Newsom, playing a flat release with an overstable disc, trying to time the fade through the late gaps, and nice speed control as well. He looks to be well in the circle.
Let's see if Gannon actually, he does have a line and does almost make it. That's the most annoying miss when you think you're already hitting the chains but get denied by the nubs. Yeah, that's just a great look of this hole. A lot of the times, no matter what side of the basket you're on, you don't really have a clean look, have to straddle around a couple of trees at least.
And Bradley, compromise stance, goes wide, gets the hyzer, hits the gap, and finds the chains. This hole really encouraging players to throw their non-standard putting release angles and forms. An interesting design here to keep players versatile. Very rare you'll have the same exact putt twice on this hole.
Moving on to one of the holes with the signature mound on this course. We're gonna see a similar structure on hole number 18, but this one potentially the steepest green on any hole of this course. Only 97 meters, so you have a very short distance, and all of the hyzers are available if you want to do it, but the most common play is gonna be to land on the left side of the hill, because on the right side of the hill, that's the steepest part. If you land just 3 meters left of the basket or 5 meters left, you have a much flatter part where the disc doesn't really want to roll away. But if you land on the right side, roll away is almost certain.
Bradley controls the flex there, reducing the likelihood of a skip. Normally the flex is a more net straight result. Gannon, rather, a more hyzer shape, crashes in, simply looking for a putt up the hill. Raven going to be shaping the forehand as well. Curious to see his option of stability.
Could be worse, though he probably has one of the scariest putts you can find in the entire world from there. 10 meters and about 6 meters of a drop behind the basket. As Albert, this is looking great. Just sit down. Sit down, and that's not going to be the case. So difficult to get the perfect distance if you don't hit the front side of the hill. That's why you see so many players just land a little bit short, take their putt from 9-8 meters. And while that's not easy to make, it's a safe play and a consistent play.
The price of entry to this mounded green, the risk of roll away. We see Raven further back now, opting for the forehand roller. It does nicely match the hill at the end with the turnover. Albert, what looks like a great shot on the ladder, just outside bullseye's edge, leaves him with little to no putt there. A simple layup. Buhr for the birdie. And fortunate to not go further, but we saw him putt very soft, floaty compared to his normal stabby putt to try and mitigate the risk of this extreme slope. Bradley Williams, good for the two, conquers a very scary green.
Yeah, and decides to conquer it on the other side of the green. You don't want to end your tournament by taking a big roll away on this green, but also not by slipping on the left side of the basket from this angle, as it can be extremely slippery, and rumor says that many disc golfers from Tampere have even ended their careers on this hole. That rumor is mostly referring to the putting yips that you get here. As that's gonna be a bogey, not the worst score that you can get on this hole, but it's definitely one of the more birdieable ones. 33% birdies on this course. It's quite a high number. A lot of the holes are getting that between 20 to 25.
Hey guys, quick break. We just dropped our brand new 2025 MDG Media Tour clothing collection, which is now available on our online shop. You will find fresh apparel and a full lineup of discs. If you like what we do, if you want to support the project, this is the best way. See you on the website and enjoy the video.
Moving on to hole number 7. A hole that is really difficult to figure out off the tee if you haven't played the course before. It plays as a high hyzer going over the right side trees, and ideally you want to land somewhere in the middle of the fairway because the discs usually tend to skip a little bit towards the left side OB. So it's going to be a really tight landing zone, not because the fairway is thin, but because the airspace that your disc is taking naturally skips towards the left side OB. And then going to one of the tightest greens as far as OB, you have a pond that is literally inside the bullseye on the right side of the green. So if you want to miss on the approach, miss left.
That second shot, such a gut check. Williams. A friendly roll to get him a few more meters there. Has positioned himself out to the left.
You can see Gannon going pretty soft there. Not trying to get a lot of distance and paying the price. Maybe not paying the price. The OB does widen if you stay shorter. So probably don't want to go for the maximum distance hyzer here, but rather just a very overstable distance driver. Even an overstable fairway is going to work.
And we see the landing zone so far fairly similar for the first 3 drives. Raven, a very similar line. The high hyzer, forwards pushing to late fade. And he just skims his way back off the right OB line, finding the stability at the critical point in the disc's flight.
Looks like Gannon is affected, but not completely denied by that tree. This is now a huge shot. He can't leave it too far to the right. If he needs to miss left. Or long. The long side OB does come into play though, and that's going to be the case. Such a tight green. I think usually having such a tight green isn't really liked by the players. But I feel like on this hole, as the approach angle is very simple, with just a high hyzer, it's more okay.
And look how much Bradley hugs the left side for that reason. Even finding the left OB, this shot offers very small margins of error. You must be extremely precise, even from a good landing zone such as Albert here. He's going for a much more spiking angle. This will mitigate any potential skip. But he connects with the inside left and also finds OB. It is left now only to Raven to try and hit the green cleanly in 2.
Has the potential. Stay in bounds. There you go. Finally a solid approach on this hole. I'm really surprised to see all of these guys struggling in such a big way on this hole. I mean, the approach is tight, but the errors that they made were huge.
Albert with a long bid. You have low expectations from there. Gannon, I'm sure, has fairly high expectations for this putt, even being so difficult. You see why. He is right there with it. Fantastic par save after the OB long. Good recovery, although even through the front 7, we see just how weary players will get. It's humid today. The course is long and demanding. Rounds taking upwards of 3 and 4 hours to play. Bradley Williams has a fantastic start so far. 4 birdies already through the first 6. This for par.
Bit of a scared release there. He did have the pond directly behind the basket, so understandable does take a special mindset to putt with a normal stroke here, as Raven gonna get a lot of strokes on the card here with that birdie.
An intentional short putt there from Albert. Bradley, another bogey to the scorecard, bringing him back to -2, still doing very well on the level of the card. Elias, what do we see on 8?
Yeah, hole 8. Objectively a very difficult hole. And I would love to offer all of our viewers the chance to come and try this hole. It's super difficult, 118 meters dead straight, and the fairway, while it's fairly wide for this level of players that we have on the card, it's definitely not an open hole. It's a dead straight tunnel that you don't have really a lot of room to shape that left to right shape. I mean, you can throw the disc on a little bit of a hyzer, flip it up, but no turnover, no hyzer is really allowed here.
Raven managing the width nicely there. Starts it out on the left, bends it over to the right, and fights through the late rough. He will be in another birdie position on one of these very tough holes. Gannon looking for a similar line, but does not swing it to the right in time, and that kick will leave him with a very small gap out. Some dense rough. We go to Williams to bounce back from the bogey on 7 now. He is known to be a guy who great at shaping backhands, but that is an early connection.
Yeah, that one somehow you could see from the run-up. He was already running up towards the left side of the fairway, compared to Albert here, deliberately running up slightly towards the right with that hyzer flip angle. Showing off the big arm of his going mid-range here. Not only the big arm, but also being comfortable throwing pretty hard through the tunnel. Gonna net him a nice 10-meter putt for the birdie here.
Bradley kicking off to the right early. Is now looking to manufacture some sort of look on the green. Looks to access the back door. Comes up a little bit short. May have an obstructed look. We'll see how high the floor in front of him is. We go to Gannon. Complete scramble as well. Great use of the skip there and the ground to control the speed on what was a fast release.
Now this would be a big save from Bradley, and he gets it. Maintains the lead on the card. And a round score of 2 under so far. Actually not so bad, as Gannon said in the interview. Front 9 playing a little bit more difficult, at least feeling more difficult. Back 9 has a lot of holes that feel a little bit softer. You don't really have to throw perfect shots compared to this hole. Definitely much easier. As Raven put it in from 8, we have a chance to see 3 birdies on the card on this hole number 8.
Albert has always been known as a great thrower. It's often come down to his putting where he lands on the leaderboards. And unfortunately, his first birdie of the round here yet to be found.
Just a disclaimer, we haven't seen this coverage before, so that was no foreshadowing there. You can see the evening light hitting the trees quite beautifully on the background. This round was played quite late, as we did have a weather delay earlier in the day. So the time is somewhere around 6:30 at this exact moment, as we're moving on to hole number 9. 132 meters. Once again, a unique shape. I haven't played a hole like this ever in my life on any other course. It's like a normal anhyzer, but then you need to make your disc go 20-30 meters more to the right than just a regular anhyzer throw would go. So we want to throw something high, ideally somewhat understable, ideally on a slight anhyzer out of the hand, get it just barely around the corner and turning to the right. If your shot looks like it's turning too far to the right, it's usually good. If it looks good, it's usually too far straight.
And a lot of fight there in Raven's disc. He is straddling the edge of the tree line, just inside it. Gannon, that severe rightwards angle. And exactly as you mentioned, Elias, if it looks like a very rightwards moving shot, it's often good, and that is up there, just outside the circle. A rare birdie opportunity.
And it's honestly pretty insane to see that even Gannon's shot that looked super early right ended up more on the left side than the right side of the basket. And Brad, that they're pretty soft release, didn't really put the full power on it.
With a limited gallery here on the Tampere course and a blind hole, these players don't know exactly where their discs are landing. They can't get a great read off of their cardmates' throws if the flight is complete. They're really taking a stab at a very late gap and a specific shape required. Raven straddling out for the forehand to create an open look.
Beautiful, beautiful touch there. Yeah, well, this hole, it's a difficult birdie. The par isn't usually a problem. You have a lot of shots like this, just from 30 meters out. Trying to approach, maybe run it a little bit, but not really. I mean, you really don't want to bogey this one, as 67% is getting a par. And still 15 birdies in the day. Pretty good stuff from the field. While most of those were from Circle 2, still 8 players were able to get inside of Circle 1 here.
Gannon from the woods. A flick of the wrist, a moment of hope, dashed by the nubs. Just like that, looking like a par frame for our chase card. As you mentioned, Elias, joining by far the majority of the field.
And talking about the majority of the field, our chase card unfortunately approaching not the lead of the field, but the majority of the field. You can see the positions next to their names. Everybody's going towards the direction that they were not really looking forward to going to. Dropping down the leaderboard, and we have a lot of new names up there near the top. Ezra Aderhold shooting a hot round. Sullivan Tipton still up there. And Lenny Kemppanen from the other pool, the C pool, playing the Nokia course at this exact same moment as these guys are playing the Tampere. Still making some moves from the weaker, at least weaker seeded pool.
We appreciate every single one of you joining us here. Make sure to go grab some snacks at your local Prisma and then come back, join us for the back nine at this incredible 2025 World Championship coverage. We appreciate every single one of you for help us making this happen. Catch you at the next one.